up, guys? New video blog for you, and this comes in from Jeremy. He's out in Kansas, and Jeremy wants to know, how can we strengthen our weak areas? You know, how can we bring up those lagging body parts when we go into the mirror, we take our shirt off? You know, more often than not, we can start to pick apart and dissect our bodies and say, you know, my chest is looking good, but my triceps are a little small, or, my shoulders are really large, my chest is too small, my calves are tiny, and, we always are looking at the vanity in the mirror, and we're always critiquing our physiques and seeing if there's symmetry and balance, and that's just kind of the nature of this sport. We are perfectionists, and, there's nothing wrong with that, but, before I get off topic already, let's jump into this. So Jeremy wants to know, how can we strengthen our lagging body parts? And I gotta say, guys, before you go to the gym, you gotta check your ego in at the door. I think a lot of us are guilty of going into the gym, and we're concerned about, the fellows are concerned about having the perfect cutoff, showing up. If they have a big chest, they want to show off their chest, or if they have great abs, they want to have one of those really small stringers that show off their abs. And if you're a lady, you're most likely looking at all these different leggings that are holding your butt up, and we gotta just eliminate that idea, guys. We're not going to the gym for the approval of other people. We're not going there to impress others. We're going there to better ourselves, to transform our bodies and our overall health. So before you get in the gym, you have to at least get in that mindset that today I'm going to improve, today I'm going to grow. And I think a lot of us, in addition to caring about how we look, we're still trying to please other people by scheduling and really planning our workouts revolving around our strength areas. And it's not for any other reason than to please the external people around us. I see so many guys go to the gym day after day after day after day, and they always start off on the bench press. It's like, what are you doing? You don't need to walk into the gym, put 245s on each side, and start repping. What are you doing? What is the point of that? Their thought process is that they need to establish some form of dominance. This is their arena. They think that they're the alpha dog, and they're kind of pumping themselves up a little bit, letting people know that they're there. But you guys are missing the point when you are starting to think like that. We have to completely shift that thought process, and we need to be able to improve our lagging body parts. We need to first take a look at what we're currently doing. Now, most often, I think people they're just oblivious to how we can structure our workouts. And if let's say chest is our weak area, we'll use that as an example because that's my weakness, and so I can relate to that the best. So having chest as the weakness, we can schedule our weekly and our daily lifting split around that body part to try and bring it up. And we can do that by, if it's on a weekly basis, we can structure our workouts, our workout routine, with chest being on the first day of that split or the second day. When we are at we're very fresh, our body is fresh, our nervous system is recovered after a nice rest day, our energy levels are up, and we're good to go. That is going to obviously help our performance when hitting chest. In addition to that, that's on a weekly basis, but when we're structuring our workout on a daily basis, we can format that lift, that daily routine, with the most beneficial and most often than not the most compound incorporating movements in the beginning of that lift. So if you're doing chest, you might not want to just go in there and start doing flies or cable flies. Most of the time you want to go in there and do the compound movements where you're doing incline bench press, flat bench press, dumbbell bench press, some more heavy duty lifts. So that's one way in which we can structure and change the structure of our lifts. In addition to that, look at the frequency per week. Look at the frequency of how many times you're hitting that muscle group. Okay, if it's chest, are you lifting your chest just once a week and kind of doing a split where Monday's chest, Tuesday's back, Wednesday legs, so on and so forth? Or are you doing more of a Monday as a chest and back, and then you hit chest and back again on Thursday, and so you're hitting it twice? Or are you one of those guys that's hitting chest every single day? You know, that's going to be a good indicator of what you need to do next. So if you're one of the guys or girls that are only hitting that muscle group once a week, then maybe you want to bump it up to 2 to 3 times a week. See what happens. It's all about shocking the body. On the flip side of that, if you're one of the guys hitting it 2, 3, 4 times a week and you're not seeing the results you want, then maybe you want to taper it down a little bit and only hit it once or twice a week. So take that into account. In addition to that, we really need to be honest with ourselves and look at our form. Okay, sometimes the best way to go forward is to go backwards and to start over with the basics. I mean, even if you've been going to the gym for years and you find yourself hitting a plateau, just go back to the basics. Check your form. Strip the weight in half and see if you're doing the movements properly. You know, if you're on the bench press, and I did this for the first year and a half that I was lifting, my form on the bench was awful. And it definitely shows, because now I have, pretty massive shoulders and a pretty small chest. But it's something that I'm working on. And I can guarantee you that as time passes, it's going to keep on improving, because I've become a student of the game, and I know what it takes to bring this muscle group up. And so I went backwards and I started doing really light bench pressing. And what I found is that when I was benching, I don't know if you can see, but when I was benching, my back was really flat, and I was kind of curling my shoulders were coming inward, okay? And my elbows were out here. So it was more like just a real awkward press that was incorporating almost all of my shoulders, very little chest. Okay, and that is probably a big indicator and a big influencer of why my shoulders have grown so much and my chest hasn't. And so I had to go backwards and say, okay, we're going to take off this weight, not caring about what other people think. I'm doing 25 pounds on each side. That's okay. It's not a big deal. But the purpose of it is to condition your body into getting the right form down. And so all of a sudden I'm doing lighter weight, and so I can handle it better. And now I realize, okay, instead of my elbows out here, I'm going to bring them in a little bit. And now my elbows are closer to my sides, engaging the pecs. Not only that, but I'm coming down much further, going to a point of where my chest and my pecs are starting to stretch. Okay, that's 2 boxes that we can check for improvement. Last but not least, not only was I doing that, but I was beginning to pretend like I was bending the bar. Also engaging the chest a lot more. Not the shoulders, but the chest. Okay, and these are things that are so minute in terms of just brainstorming ideas of improvement, but when you actually do it, there's a tremendous difference. It makes a really, really big difference. And so you can only do that when you get rid of your ego. You don't care about the weight, but you care about your form. And you do the basics, and you get used to the basics until you start to add weight. And you don't add weight until you have the form down. In addition to that, guys, we basically, along the lines of our form, we need to check, how is our mind-muscle connection? Like I said, very similar to the bench press, I felt like I was improving because I was doing more and more weight, but it wasn't until I really started to focus on my mind-muscle connection did I realize that, I'm really not even feeling it in my chest. I just feel it in my shoulders and my shoulder cuff area. And so I really needed to start putting my mind at where my chest was. And I was lifting, boom, 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 chest popping out every time, contracting, flexing the chest every single time, making sure it was engaged the entire time, on the way down, on the way up, boom, way down, the way up, boom, every single time, rather than just throwing weight on it. There's a tremendous difference. So make sure the mind-muscle connection is there. And another thing that I see a lot, and we're all guilty of it, including myself, but we tend to incorporate other muscles when we're adding weight. And I think the best example of this is if we're doing bicep curls. You know, we'll say we're doing barbell bicep curls, and you know, most of us can't curl that much weight, and so we feel like we need to throw some more on just to impress everyone else. And so we do that, and what we find, even though we know we shouldn't be doing it, we're still doing it, and we're swinging. We're trying to swing the bar up, using our muscles throughout our entire body is helping us get this curl up. Even though we're trying to focus only on the biceps, we're throwing our hips into it, our lower back into it, swinging it up with our shoulders and thinking that it's all good. But it really comes down to that muscle-mind connection, getting a deep contraction in that targeted muscle region. You know, I think last but not least, you guys need to don't hide your weaknesses. I know a lot of guys that are really embarrassed and ashamed of their calves, and so that you'll never find them wearing shorts. They're always in the gym with long pants, and they're just concerned about the opinions of others, so they'll never show their calves. But I think there is a lot of positive, there's nothing but a positive outcome when you expose those weaknesses and to let the world know, you know, this is my weakness. That's okay if you judge me, I don't care, but I'm here to improve them. And in time, these are going to be improved, and they're no longer going to be weaknesses. And not only that, but it should be, you know, for me personally, I show my weaknesses because I am constantly being reminded of how badly I want to improve them. You know, it's fueling me to improve them at a faster rate. Rather than hiding them, it's more like in sight, in mind. You know the expression out of sight, out of mind? We're trying to bring it into sight. So it's in mind. And when it's in mind, we can continuously make the effort, put forth the effort that's necessary to improve that. So give these techniques a try, guys. Check out your split, reformat it, make sure you're not doing just your strengths, but tailor it so that your weaknesses are getting a lot of focus. In addition to that, check your form, be honest with yourself, and check the ego out. You know, take the weight down. It's okay to go backwards in weight, but forward in form, because that's going to be a lot more beneficial than otherwise. And last but not least, guys, don't hide those weaknesses. You know, show them off, and in time, they're going to be strengths. So, Jeremy, thanks for the question. I appreciate it. And everyone else, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.